Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I am Melanie Tree and we have a really interesting topic to talk about because I may have accidentally ticked off the Phoenix Police Department. So sorry that it's been a hot minute since we had a long form video. I was recovering from a back surgery, but I did my best to post like shorts and on TikTok as well, so you can go and check that out as well. But one of the things that I wanted to talk about, because I sort of just got, of course it wasn't just about me specifically, it was about other advocates, but I was calling out the Arizona Police Department, specifically the Phoenix Police Department, because you guessed it, they arrested 60 human trafficking victims, but they didn't arrest the human trafficker. So I, of course, called them out, and that video got a little bit popular. It didn't like completely blow up, but it was like, between the two videos, it was like 2,000 views, which is huge in my terms. I don't have a big platform. After, like a day after that, a news article, and I know it wasn't specifically me because there was other advocates calling them out, but I was like, oh, yeah, they're getting a little bit of heat, and the Phoenix Police Department is like trying to come out, and they're like, hey, like we have a bigger plan. But in the previous article, as you probably may have seen in my short form, that they didn't clarify. It was a rather short article, and they released mugshots of the human trafficking victims. One of the human trafficking victims was a minor, and they were saved from human trafficking, but everyone else that was an adult, they were arrested for a misdemeanor prostitution in the Phoenix, Arizona. And that was like their big whole plan, was just sweeping through and arresting like all of them. But in the first article, it didn't clarify what they were doing with the victims of human trafficking, because I know because I have done my research, because this is my area of expertise. This is like the area that I know that Arizona has a program where they arrest adult and non-adult victims of human trafficking, but they go through a program where they are learning to become financially secure, and then they get lots of mental health resources, they have housing, and then they're back on their feet and they're contributing to society. But in the first article, it didn't state that. It didn't state what they were doing. They were just stating that they got arrested, and they released their mugshots and their names and their ages. That is incredibly dangerous. That is incredibly dangerous, because a lot of these human trafficking victims, they have like false names. Like prostitutes, they have these false names, so it protects their name. It protects them with the strange men that they meet every day. But once the men see that on an article in the Phoenix, Arizona, with this huge bus, and then they see their real name, their real age, it's incredibly dangerous. That absolutely blew me out of the water. I was like, okay, maybe they didn't state that they're going through the program because, you know, it's kind of like a work in progress, or some things that they need to like finer tune, but it's a good theory. So I was like, okay, maybe they didn't do that. But when I saw that they released the mugshots and their legal names and their ages, I was like, that's not right. So me and a lot of human trafficking advocates were like, what the flip, Phoenix, Arizona? I know that you have the resources because this is Phoenix, Arizona, first of all. And two, I know that when you had the NFL, you were doing that huge, oh, we have a new idea of how to address human trafficking, and we have this new program, and other states were contributing, and they were copying off of Phoenix because they're like, oh, that's a good idea. Because I know in my hometown, they saw that and they're like, oh, we want to contribute that. And like a couple years later, they built the program and they publicly announced it. Like, it was a good groundbreaking thing. And then we saw that and we called them out for it. And then I'm going to show you this interesting video that they freaking released, because I thought this was quite funny. Because I don't know, I'm not like a lie detector, but I'm pretty good at it. And I was like, man, the DA is lying through their butt right now, because I could just like, nah, you guys are lying. I don't know what you're talking about, but I can tell that you are lying.
More fallout from a series of arrests targeting sex trafficking in an area in downtown Phoenix known as the Blade.
Advocates want to know why detectives threw the victims behind bars, accused prostitutes who are often trafficked themselves. Amy Cutler has a look at the impact and how a neighboring police department handles similar cases.
This is video of 27th Avenue from early Monday morning.
The area from Indian School to Bethany Home, known as the Blade.
It's not just the human trafficking that's occurring, it's what goes with the human trafficking. So with that comes drugs, with that comes violence.
That's why Maricopa County Attorney Rachel Mitchell says her office spearheaded what they call.
I can just tell that she looks incredibly nervous because she got called out. She looks incredibly nervous and she wasn't expecting this to blow up. As it wasn't like a huge blow up, but it kind of blew in their face. And then that's why they released like another huge announcement, because like Lauren Hurst, as you're gonna see, who runs the biggest world like anti-human trafficking program, kind of like Operation Underground Railroad, like bigger, kind of like NCMEC, but they focus specifically on human trafficking. Like if you got that lady to call you out, that's some pretty steam instead of this girl with a couple hundred followers. Like I was like, I knew I was in the right, especially when I saw that Lauren Hurst also called them out.
Operation New Beginnings, partnering with the Sheriff's Office, Phoenix Police, and Grand Canyon University Police on recent sweep.
Also, in the newer article, it states that that's one of the reasons why they wanted to take it down, because it was in between like schools. So that's why they were like, oh, this is probably not safe for our kids to see, like all this going down, especially with all the like different forms of trafficking that involve human trafficking.
To the area. During 3 days in August, they arrested 47 people, charging them with misdemeanor prostitution. Authorities said one victim of child sex trafficking was found. Then last week, another 2-day sweep resulted in 22 arrests. Again, they were charged with misdemeanor prostitution.
It's really sad and disappointing.
Lauren Hirsch is a former prosecutor and the national director for World Without Exploitation, the largest anti-trafficking coalition in the country.
The vast majority of people sold in the sex trade are just that. They're not there by choice. They're there because of force, because of coercion, or because of lack of other options.
We've heard from some advocates that these are victims of sex trafficking or human trafficking, and yet they're charged with crimes. How do you justify that?
Well, understand that we're going to review every case that's submitted to us, whether it targets individuals such as these, or if we're going to be looking at the traffickers themselves.
Just a few miles.
If you're going to be looking at the traffickers themselves, you should have arrested them first and not the victims. Arrest me, sue me. Well, possibly don't sue me. I don't have any money. I'm a college student. But anyways, that's my hot take. If you're gonna be looking into the human traffickers themselves, you should have arrested them first, because they're the problem, not the victims, not the survivors. There's a minor in there, and I'm sure there was a couple more. Like what? Anyways.
From the Blade, Glendale PD says their vice unit has transitioned to human trafficking.
Sometimes an arrest isn't the solution.
Officer Maroney Mendez is the public information officer with Glendale.
We have to look at the totality of the circumstances and deem what's better for either the victim or the suspect.
What happens when these cases go to court? The city of Phoenix confirms 437 prostitution cases were filed last year. Those include sex workers and the buyers, and a quarter of those were dismissed.
We spoke with a former prosecutor who took issue with the mugshots of these individuals being released and the fact that you're putting a misdemeanor on their record.
You'd have to ask the agency that released the mug shots regarding that.
Ma'am, you're the district attorney. Don't even. You're the one that spearheaded this. Like, well, what are you talking about? You're gonna have to talk. That's just like politician speak, because if you want to be like that, you kind of have to be a little bit political and a little politician speech. That's just like, I don't want accountability of this, so I'm gonna blame someone else, like the lower dog, because this is gonna hurt my future career, because maybe she wants to be a judge or something. She's like, I don't want this any on me, because there's some blowback now, and that Lauren Hirsch is on my butt. That's just politicians being like, you're gonna have to talk to them, ma'am. You're the one that spearheaded this with the freaking police department. That's your job. You're the district freaking attorney.
Obviously, we would love to work with these individuals and give them a chance to turn their lives around.
Mitchell says this is just the beginning. The goal.
Okay, I will give her that, even though you guys kind of did a crappy response, and I don't know if you were already previously helping them out before you got blowback. Okay, because in the second article it states, because that was one of the main things that I inquired about, I'm like, okay, I know that you have the New Rose program, which is the program I spoke about earlier, where they give, like, when they arrest the victims, which a lot of people have problems with because they're like, man, you're arresting them, and then you're like, hey, actually, we didn't want to help you now that you're into the police department after we just arrested you and put you back inside of the cop car, but we're helping you out now. At least they're helping them. I don't know. But later on in the second, yes, the one that they posted 2 years ago, because they had them all lined up too, as you can see here. They have them all lined up. Like, what the flip did you think? Anyways, but in the second article, because they're like, and phase 2, but we didn't mention that in the first article, that they are going to, I'm trying to find the exact name of the university, but the local university there, they're like claiming that they're gonna help them out. I'm just like, the local university? Kids that may not have a whole lot of experience dealing with human trafficking, and human trafficking is like a big expert issue. Like, I do not claim myself as an expert. I claim myself as an advocate. I may have been studying this since middle school, but I'm not the one dealing with it firsthand. I am just learning from what people who deal with this firsthand, and then I'm just relaying the information onto you guys. That's what I do. I do this for free. I don't get paid for doing any of this because I care about it, and all the main advocates, all the main people that talk about human trafficking, and the best way to solve it is to spread awareness. That's what I'm doing, because I'm like, hey, I'm Gen Z. I know my way around technology. I can help you. And I have a certificate in marketing. Like, I can help you guys so much. Let me help you. Boom. I may only have a couple hundred followers combined with TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, but I'm slowly growing, okay? I've had some setbacks because of my health, but I'm still trying. And also doesn't help when you when YouTube and TikTok keep on taking down my content, but it's it's okay. I still care about it. I don't get burnout. I promise you, I don't get burnout at all. I am never gonna get. Yes, okay. So it says Operation New Beginning, which is this huge thing, obviously, that they're talking about. The one that foolishly arrested like 70 human trafficking survivors and release their names and their photos and their ages. Might as well release their social security number. Okay, Operation New Beginning helps support the efforts of a coalition of more than 80 community schools, businesses, churches, and neighborhood groups and government police agencies, dubbed 27 Collab, to push back against criminal activity in the area. Okay, that was my number one flag, okay? That was my number one red flag. Okay, so you have businesses, churches, neighborhood groups like HOAs, and the government and police agencies. I don't mind the government and police agencies because they know what they're doing. But if you're having schools, businesses, churches, and HOAs joining in on this, they have no clue what they're talking about. Yeah, they're going to bring up the issue and they're going to talk to the police. Great. But everything else, they have absolutely no freaking clue what they're doing. So I don't like how they're called the 27 Collab group. That's stupid. They don't know what they're doing. They shouldn't be involved in any of this. Yes, concern. If they want to help support, like give church services, offer food, great. But they shouldn't be a part of this. They shouldn't be a part of this like in the beginning. Okay, they raise awareness. Great. Leave it off to the police department and they're like, oh, do you mind like helping out with providing food, like food banquets? Yes, great. But other than that, they don't know what they're doing. They shouldn't be involved. Like pastor, religion, leadership, great. That's what churches are for. Schools, businesses, churches, neighborhood HOA groups, collecting food and donating it to these victims and clothes and essential necessities, great. Other than that, they shouldn't be involved with this. To push back against criminal activity in the area. That's what I'm talking about, because they don't know what they don't know what they're doing. They notice that the problem, great. They relate it to the police department, as I've stated previously. Great, that's what you should do. Hold them accountable and be like, hey, I'm noticing this issue. Please help out. You do that, great. You can't get involved with any of the criminal activity because you don't know what you're doing. Okay, the 27th collab, which is organized and led by Grand Canyon University. What the flip is the university gonna do? They're not like a grad school. It's a bunch of like 18 to 25 at most students that don't really have any experience. They're learning like real world experience, like getting involved with human trafficking of all things. Why is the university leading this? Yeah, I'm gonna run a research study on human trafficking victims. The psychology student state. Forever screw up those kids. 27 Galab, which is organized and led by the Grand Canyon University, has launched initiatives to provide support services for victims of human sex trafficking, coordinating crime suspicion efforts with Phoenix PD and other police agencies, would add additional video cameras, lighting along 27th Avenue properties, pool resources for a joint private security patrol. Someone's old grandpa that worked in security once. They're like, yeah, I'm gonna totally take down these traffickers. Identify beautification projects, promote business opportunities on vacant properties, and open a new GCW police dispatch and real-time operations center substation at some address that is also available. Great, guys. Okay, so you're adding new video cameras. Great. You're adding more lighting. Great. What is that? Coordinate crime suppression efforts. Provide support services for victims of sex trafficking. I can get like your local bishop or pastor, give them religious support. A support services means, in what I'm interpreting, psychological help. And I'm guessing not a whole lot of average college students with like a psychology, sociology degree can't help you a whole lot because they had to go to grad school to be able to be certified. They can get like doing research studies, but support services for victims of sex trafficking. Okay, there's a difference between SA support groups because they have one, like someone with a psychology degree or bishop or religious leader, or it's like survivor ran. It's kinda and completely different from sex trafficking. I'm being so honest with you guys. That is completely different. I feel like this is gonna crash and burn and just leave a whole lot more victims more confused. It's a nice idea, but if you don't have people who don't know what they're doing, it's just gonna cause further harm. I would have liked to see, because it says local businesses, not local nonprofits, like a child advocacy center or a family crisis center led by experts who know what to do, because it just said businesses and not nonprofits, and businesses and nonprofits are completely different thing. Completely different. In your local HOAs, no one wants to deal with the HOA. And I hate how the Grand Canyon University spokesperson states, these efforts by the Operation New Beginning Coalition and 27 Collab is a tremendous example of what can occur when communities join forces with government agencies to revitalize a neighborhood and work both ends of a crisis. First and foremost by helping those who are victims of sex trafficking, but also by coordinating efforts to rid of community of criminal activity and ensure this is a safe and vibrant neighborhood again. No, this is a great, tremendous example of how you cause further harm for sex trafficking victims. I said it. I said it and I'll say it again. I'm sure Lauren Horse will say the same exact thing as I did now. Because what you did, great lighting, great. Video cameras for future cases, great. Canyon University over here is saying like, yeah, we're doing a great job helping these sex trafficking victims, when I for sure know that they're like, oh yeah, we have one support group. Because that's what happens at these universities that put profit over anything else. Because they're like, oh, this is a great way to advertise ourselves. They're like, oh, we're helping the community. I have seen this time and time again where universities say that, yeah, we're doing a great thing to help out with this one victim that was victimized by a professor or other class students, and we run a one support group that doesn't even work. No one shows up, and you don't even have an expert that knows what they're doing. I'm just being so honest with you guys. It's really annoying. It is really annoying because there's 70 victims. I would say, okay, this would be a little bit different if they would offer these victims a full ride at a university to give them an education with support services, like with their therapy, if they have therapy on campus. But other than that, I don't know why the university is even is even interjecting here. I'm guessing from a PR and a financial mindset is like, this is a great way for us to get our name out there and be like, hey, we have good values here. Come have $100,000 of debt at our school. That's the only thing. So yeah, I got Phoenix PD. I gave Phoenix PD some backlash. That was pretty interesting. I mean, that was really interesting, and it made me giggle a little bit. Not for these victims, because that is absolutely terrible, but that I honestly didn't expect any kind of response, or any of the journalists or PD actually responding to their mindset and giving further clarification, which only made me more disappointed. And their idea of, yeah, this is how you're gonna help out. Nah, you probably should have talked to a nonprofit. I'm being so for real. This is not a tremendous example of what a community can occur to revitalize a neighborhood. This is a tremendous example of hurting those that are at the bottom of the totem pole. This is the tremendous example of hurting human trafficking victims and not fully understanding and not doing full research and not talking to any nonprofit known to mankind. You have a human trafficking division? Great! Yeah, Phoenix Police Department Human Exploitation and Trafficking Heat Unit. Well, if it was such a great unit, they wouldn't have posted pictures, names, and ages of all 70 victims of them all, besides, of course, the minor because of legal restrictions. And here I was thinking that the Phoenix Police Department was pretty great because of the Rose program, but now I'm just disappointed. Anyways, that's my hot take of the Phoenix Police Department. Have an awesome day. Bye.